Good morning. It is such a great day to have synchronicity. I am so excited about our next guest who is joining us from LA. Everyone who knows me knows that that is like next on my bucket list. I have to get out to the West Coast. We are joined with Ebony, who is the founder, CEO, director of your favorite shrink. Ebony, good morning. Thank you so much for getting up with us today. How are you?
Doing well. I'm sipping on my little tea here.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to sit and chat and have virtual tea with us. Absolutely. So I am just going to jump right in. Tell us about yourself and your practice.
Yes. So my name is Ebony Williams. I am a licensed clinical counselor, and this is actually a second career for me. I'm a mom of 5, and I spent 15 years as a stay-at-home mom. I think that in itself is a great training for therapy because you have to mediate and negotiate and heal and all the things. So. After my youngest went to kindergarten, I said, what do I want to do now? Yeah. And I decided to go back to school and get my master's in counseling. So I've been doing this for, it'll be 10 years next year. I am a sole practitioner, so it is just me, myself, and I. I have a small private practice where I see individuals and couples, but my specialty, my sweet spot that I really like to work in is with women, specifically women of color who are going through some kind of change or transition in their lives.
I love it. I love everything about it. I love the fact that you was a mom, a stay-at-home mom first. So that is the most essential training that you could get before going out and serving this population. So definitely warms my heart to hear that. So tell me a little bit about working with the Black and Brown community. Why would you say that therapy is important?
The stigma. There has been such a stigma, especially in the Black and Brown communities, about seeking mental health treatment. We have this thing, especially in the Black community, what happens in this house stays in this house, right? And we sit and talk to the man about our problems. That hasn't served us too well. We got Black women, especially out here, really going through it because they've tried to uphold this strong Black woman image. And not the healthiest thing. We've always needed mental health care. We've always had that relative in the family who we used to say was a little off. They probably needed some mental health care, So I think it's really important, and I'm so happy that it's becoming more accepted now. It's being talked about more now, just out in the media. People are no longer ashamed or feel like they have to hide the fact that they go to therapy. Need it. Go to therapy.
Yes. Oh, I love it. We want to talk about that behind the scenes. I need one. Okay. So you hit on something that is just rings true in our culture. That is that stigma that's around getting mental health treatment in the Black community, right? Is that what happens in our house stays in our house. You take it to the cross on Sunday morning, right?
Yeah.
And that's that's just the beginning and end of it, right? It seems to really be frowned upon in our community to reach out for help and resources. I remember when I was in grad school, my grandmother, God rest her soul, when I told her that I was going to school for social work, she said to me, "You want to take people's kids?"
Oh, right, because that was the image, right? The image. Social workers, yes, they just are there to take your children. Completely overlooking all of the wonderful things that they do.
And that has just been the role that has been assigned to our line of work, and our people are really seem to be in fear over this. And so I think it's up to us as change leaders to kind of minimize that stigma and push the narrative that it's okay.
Yes,
It
really is. I talk about it every chance I get, to my kids, to my friends, on my social media. This is long overdue.
Yes. So tell us a little bit. You say your sweet spot is working with women of color. Yeah. What have you seen working with women of color in trauma?
Ooh, trauma keeps us stuck. It can be paralyzing. It keeps us from moving forward in our lives. I see it a lot with women that I work with who maybe had some abusive relationships in the past, and it's affecting them now because they're not able to have a healthy relationship, either because they don't know what a healthy relationship looks like, or because they're afraid. They're trapped in their past trauma, and they're expecting the worst. And so it like causes them to build this wall where they keep love from coming in. Keeping the danger out, but you're also keeping the love from coming in. So that's just one example of how trauma can affect us. It keeps us stuck, keeps us from moving forward.
Yeah, really good. And Black women, unfortunately, we have been defined as strong, right? And I say unfortunately because that hasn't really worked out in our favor, right?
No.
And so have you seen in your practice, have you seen more women, especially women of color, being vulnerable and not subscribing to being strong and coming to treatment? And if so, what type of interventions do you use with them?
So I have seen, almost, I won't say all, but a great majority of the women that come to me are those quote unquote strong Black women. But the reason they are now, sitting across from me is because that wasn't working anymore. It was breaking them down. It was too much, and at some point they realized, I can't keep going like this. I need some help. Especially, when you are the go-to person for everybody, you're the strong one, you're the one that everyone comes to for advice or support. Well, what happens when you need advice? And so I see a lot of that. And as far as interventions, I work with those strengths. I work a lot in strength-based therapy, resilience therapy. I want to draw upon all of those things that you've been juggling and carrying and all the experiences that you've survived, and see, how do we use those in a productive manner to go forward so that we're not still, taking on everything on our own, but we are able to tap into some of those skills that we gathered along the way, sometimes not even by choice, but by necessity. How do we use those to go forward and, become the versions of ourselves that we would like to be?
I love it. Really good. I seen something on, I think it was either on YouTube or on social media, and it was saying that mood disorders look differently in Black women, right? And I know that with some of the women that I treat, if they are depressed or if they are suffering from an anxiety disorder, it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't seem to show up like how it did, thinking about like clinical in clinical terms, right? Like some women, they can won't slow down, right? They will continuously be busy. They will, work themselves to death, right?
Yes.
What are some things that you've seen in treating women of color that may have a mood disorder? How would that show up for them?
Stress, anger, irritability, short temper, and then that spills over into relationships, right? It starts to affect the relationships because you're always cranky, you're always mad, you're always stressed out. That can be a big indication. A lot of the women I see, maybe they turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms to deal with some of those mood disorders. Maybe a lot of company with the, opposite sex or even same sex in some cases, but, promiscuity, eating, burying yourself in good food, shopping, lots of different manifestations. But I'd say with Black women specifically, I do see a lot of irritability and anger and exhaustion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Right. I'm just curious, especially the irritability and anger, because we've been defined as the angry Black woman.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think that stems from?
Well, let's think about why. Why did we get that reputation? Is there a reason for that? Is she mad? Well, why is she mad? She's been carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders, more than likely. We're taking care of the kids, we're taking care of our partners, we're taking care of the house, we're holding it down at work. We're doing it all, and we are tired, and that often spills into irritability because you're exhausted. No, I don't have time. No, leave me alone. Don't ask me for anything. Don't talk to me. And there you have it. Comes off as anger.
And it's so unfortunate, because to be able to juggle those many domains and kind of show up for all of those demands, right? That would have some type of effect on your psyche. But then to be defined as like the angry Black woman, and not looking deeper, which is kind of like our job to see why. What is it stemming from?
Yes. And how do we find some relief from all of it? The responsibilities don't necessarily go away, but maybe we can approach them differently. Maybe we can look at them differently. Maybe we can learn some tools, maybe we can start to delegate. Maybe we can start to outsource and find some ways to release some of that stress, so we're not taking it out on the people closest to us.
Yes, that's right. Really good, Ebony. Thank you.
Yes.
So tell us about your practice. What makes it unique?
I think my practice is unique because I treat from experience. Yes, I have the book knowledge and the school knowledge, but I also have real life experience. And so I feel like I am in a unique position to help people who are going through, these major transitions, whether it's, surviving divorce, coming out of a bad relationship, starting over, starting a new career, raising kids, losing your identity in that. We go through a lot of different versions of ourselves, starting from late adolescence. I have a lot of like college students that I work with who are trying to figure out, okay, what do I do now? Maybe school isn't really their thing, but they're going because their family expected them to. Or maybe they're about to graduate and they have no idea what they want to do. Or maybe they have graduated and they're out in the real world and they're overwhelmed by what being a grown-up means. So all of these are different transitions that we go throughout our lives as women. So I feel like, I've experienced almost all of those. And it's a lot to deal with, again, when we don't have people to turn to. A lot of us are first generation college graduates, or first generation stay-at-home moms. That was frowned upon, even, like, why are you at home? That's lazy. You should be out helping. So there's a lot to deal with that is unique to us, I think. And I think part of what makes my practice unique is that I've been there. So speaking to you as a therapist, but also as someone with personal experience.
Yes. And what I'm hearing too is just to be able to accept those different phases that we go through, right? And knowing that it's okay to reinvent yourself and embrace where you are in those moments. So that is so good, definitely.
And you don't have to have it all figured out.
Yeah.
You don't. You don't have to know every single step, because what do they say? You want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Oh my God. So true.
Yeah, you might think you have it all figured out, but things happen. Life happens. And sometimes we have to pivot, and that requires a transition. And those transitions can be a lot to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, good stuff. So, Ebony, talk to us about stress, right? How would you say that stress could manifest in a person? And what are some of your go-to modalities to kind of treat that chronic stress, with,
Mhm.
especially with women?
Yes. So I think health is one place where, stress affects us. There's a direct correlation to, elevated blood pressure, hypertension, and stress, aches and pains, headaches, backaches, things like that. Not wanting to move, just kind of being stuck because you have this heaviness or this pain that you feel all the time, largely due to your stress. I talked a little bit about, with the irritability comes these strained relationships sometimes. If we are stressed and we are not in a good mood, people probably don't want to be around us very much, and so that can cause problems either with our children or our partners or our family members or our friends.
Yeah.
So I've seen stress show up like that. It's different for everybody, but it's something that tends to creep up when we've been doing too much. And so we do need to look at ways to deal with that, to cope with that. For me, speaking for myself, after a long day of work, I'll get online and start window shopping. I call it online window shopping. I have carts everywhere full of stuff. I haven't checked it out, but I got carts, or I'll get on and start planning a trip. May not actually go on the trip, may not be able to afford the trip, but I'm looking, I'm fantasizing, I'm learning about places and looking at hotels. I know people who like to go on Zillow and look at houses, it's kind of like taking you out of your reality for a second, giving you a chance to, just exhale and giving you something to look forward to, things that maybe I will be able to do one day. Another one for me is just being outside. Lucky that I live in Southern California, so we have the ocean right here. We haven't had it in a while. It's June gloom right now, so it's been cloudy. But being outside, the fresh air, the sunshine, driving past the water and just sitting and maybe having some lunch in my car, that's one of my happy places. Just it's calming. I want to breathe and I want to see and hear the ocean, and that's one of the things that works for me. Another one could be spending time with friends or family. I love to meet up with the girls for a good happy hour, or just to sit around and watch some trash TV and laugh and exhale, and different things. They don't always have to be expensive. Doesn't always have to be a spa day, although I love a good massage.
Yes, ma'am.
Or just sitting and having a nice cup of tea, and getting that time to yourself, and just doing something that makes you feel good, even if it's for half an hour or an hour. Sometimes that's enough to just kind of help us regulate, and then we're ready to face the kids or the partner or do whatever we have to do in the second half of our day.
That's right. I'm telling you, great minds think alike, right? Because we were definitely aligned. Because my next question to you was, you're pouring into people all day. What are some ways that you kind of unwind? What stress reduction techniques are your go-to? And you already gave them to us, right? And so,
Yes.
Any of that?
I will add to that breathing. Breathing, I mean, it sounds obvious. It's something that we have to do to live, but the way we breathe. Like for myself, I notice when I'm stressed, my breath gets very short. Or I'm even holding it sometimes. I don't realize it. So just some deep breaths, just inhaling, letting the belly expand, holding that for a minute, blowing it all out. That can do wonders. A hot shower. Just the time alone in the shower with the music on or quiet. Simple things, sensory things, right? Touch, taste, smell, the feel of the water on your skin. What else? Yoga. I go to my Wednesday night yoga. I look forward to that. That's my time, and I feel good when I leave. So I think you have to find what works for you. There's all kinds of different things you can try. Journaling, meeting up with friends. All of those things can be helpful, but you got to find the ones that work for you and then actually use them.
That's right. Yeah. It's not a one size fit all, right? I love when clients ask me, they're like, okay, what am I supposed to do to not feel stressed out? And I'm like, I don't know.
I can tell you what works for you. I can tell you what worked for me. I can tell you what works for some of the other people I've worked with. But you gotta do your part. The hour that we spend together each week is a very small part of your healing. You have to work outside of session too, and figure out what works for you.
Yes. Say it again for the clients in the back.
That 1 hour a week with your therapist is not going to solve all your problems. You have to do the work. You hear that a lot. Do the work. That means practicing what you've learned in session, putting it into action in your life and noticing, is it helping? Do I need to try some other things? But you gotta do some work outside of session and figure out what works for you.
That's right. I could have said it better. That was amazing. Yes, yes, yes. So Ebony, what else, right? I feel like we covered so much in this short amount of time, but what else would you like to share with us? How can we find you? What's your social media? Now is the time to kind of let us have it all.
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at Your Favorite Shrink. I'm also online at yourfavoriteshrink.net. Make sure you type in .net, because if you type in .com, you'll end up somewhere else. But I am out here. I am accepting a small number of individual clients right now. My practice is almost full. But yes, I'm here. I'm available. I think that I've never met a person who could not benefit from therapy. You do not have to be in crisis to go to therapy. Sometimes you need it for maintenance. Sometimes you need it just to have a space to vent or to, talk through some things, hear yourself say it out loud, get some feedback. You don't have to be crazy to go to therapy. Like I said, I've never met anyone who could not benefit from therapy. So find somebody who you feel like you connect with, who you resonate with, who understands you. I tell people that therapy can be a lot like dating. As far as finding a therapist, the first one you meet may not be the best match for you. I know people who have, tried to start therapy and they've met with somebody and it wasn't really a good fit. And they said, oh, I don't know, it didn't work for me. Or, oh, I don't know, I didn't really like the person. Okay, well, keep trying. It's like dating. You got to keep looking. Almost every therapist I know offers a free consultation. And that's kind of like a getting to know you, seeing if the fit is there, seeing if they have the expertise in whatever areas you're dealing with that you want support with. But keep looking until you find the right one. Because when you do find the right one, change happens. And it's a beautiful thing.
Such a beautiful thing.
Yes. Yes.
Ebony, this was amazing. Thank you so much for getting up with us and letting us in on parts of your life. Thank you for being a light worker and working with vulnerable populations and helping them to reinvent themselves and getting them to that next phase with your support. My goal for you, my wish for you is to continue to be brave, be magical, and be well. And am I missing anything? I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Yes, this was amazing. Cheers. Thanks for having tea with us, and we will chat soon.
Cheers to you. Yes, let's get you to LA.
Oh my God. We're about to talk. All right. Have a good one.
Thank you.